Anyway, so Ezekiel Jackson beat Primo. He beat Zack Ryder. Then come last night, you have the Brooklyn Brawler, one guy, he's not going to win a match if he's going to have a reunion match, And so you put Jackson in against Brawler, and of course Jackson's going to destroy him. But what is there right now for Ezekiel Jackson? Me, quite frankly, he hasn't really shown a lot of moves, but he's got some great moves in his arsenal. What he does have, even if it's just picking up over his head and giving you a gorilla press slam, he has the ability, I would say, to put on a good match with some of those bigger name performers. What's next for him? I don't see having a rivalry with Primo or Zack Ryder. It's not a rivalry that's one-sided. Going back to John Morrison and Sheamus, a lot of people are probably expecting Sheamus to win this Sunday. But with somebody as the caliber of John Morrison, with some of his great athletic abilities, it's going to be a good match. And, you don't know for sure who's going to win, but it's going to be a good match. I think that match, quite frankly, could have the opportunity to steal the show come this Sunday at Survivor Series. Ezekiel Jackson, though, I want to see him in something more than what he's in right now. And, maybe writers are toying with him. They don't know what to do, and so as a time filler, they're going to have him beat up some of these no-names. I get it. I want to see what's next for him. I want to see him in a storyline. That's my opinion. Going on with Survivor Series this Sunday, they just announced on Raw last night it's a 10-man classic Survivor Series match. It's about time they decide that there's going to be one. All this building up to Survivor Series is going into 3 matches. You got Natalya versus Lay Cool for the Unified Divas Championship, and then you got Kane versus Edge. I'm pretty sure Kane's going to win that. Sorry, Edge, I like you, but, it's not your time. They're building something Kane up, or something pretty big up for Kane, I would say. And then you got Wade Barrett versus Randy Orton with John Cena, the referee. Those are matches you see getting built up. Where's there a Survivor Series match in there? So it's time that they announce one. I'd like to see those matches where they intermix Raw and SmackDown superstars. But you got a 10-man SmackDown tag team match. You got Team Rey Mysterio, which is, Rey Mysterio, Big Show, I believe Kofi Kingston's on there, Chris Masters, and, Rey Mysterio, Big Show, Kofi Kingston, Chris Masters, and there's, MVP, sorry. And then you got them facing Alberto Del Rio's team, team he's captaining of himself, Tyler Rex, Cody Rhodes, Dashing Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and Jack Swagger. Sorry, couldn't think of Jack Swagger. Anyway, I get it. It's interesting match, but they've been building the Rey Mysterio Alberto Del Rio rivalry for quite some time. Where does all these other people fit in? I guess they tried making something with MVP and Alberto Del Rio last Monday on Raw, but I don't think you can build a match of that caliber in just 1 week. That's my opinion. So there's SmackDown, Raw. My opinion, come Sunday, everybody's talking about, is John Cena going to be freed from Nexus, or is he going to be fired? Obviously, Nexus is not in his future come this Sunday, is what they say. I have one of 2 opinions. First I was thinking, well, maybe John Cena will screw Randy Orton over. Wade Barrett will win the championship. Maybe John Cena's Nexus to stay for a while. But let's face facts, that's not going to go over too well with the WWE Universe. It's not going to draw the ratings. It might at first just see how can Cena do as a heel. He was a heel a few years ago, but and that went over fine. But now that they put him as a face and he's the face of the company, it's just like putting The Rock as a heel. You can't do it anymore. Otherwise, my main opinion, I'm still leading to this, is that Wade Barrett's going to win the match. Somehow or another, Wade Barrett will win the match. John Cena will be freed from Nexus. He's going to fulfill his promise of beating the snot out of Wade Barrett after the match. Wade Barrett will be the champion. John Cena's get beat the snot, and here comes The Miz. Miz has nothing else going on for Survivor Series right now. Why don't you just give him the world title? With that said, I would see a fatal 4-way between the 2 of them in a TLC match, the following pay-per-view being Tables, Ladders, and Chairs TLC. That's my opinion. On to TNA. it's interesting. I'm starting to really like Matt Morgan. I think they're really doing great for the character. However, the storyline, I'm always excited to see TNA. I don't see it lasting long. You know, Jeff Hardy has proved to us that he can be a heel. You know, the Antichrist of professional wrestling. Can he be a heel very long? It's hard telling. I don't think so. I don't think this Immortal angle is going to last too long. Jeff Hardy is a heel, but let's face it, there's still a ton of fans out there who love him. And eventually, you know, Hogan and Bischoff are going to open up their eyes and they'll be like, you know, we can't have Jeff Hardy as a heel. Van Dam with EV2, that whole spiel, I don't get it. I think Van Dam should be rivaling with Jeff Hardy as opposed to Matt Morgan. As much as I like Matt Morgan, I like Van Dam a little better, and I think it's fitting that the two of them rival. But they have their toll, you know, they have their idea. Let's see where it goes from here. You know, you got to keep in mind Matt Hardy should be coming to TNA in a couple months. His contract with WWE finally got done with. He's coming to TNA, let's face facts. He's not going to get rid of wrestling. Maybe he's going to be the one who kind of turns Jeff Hardy over to the good side. Who knows? It's interesting, and I'm going to keep watching it. But right now, as a spectator, I don't know. I don't see TNA going very far with what they're doing. But, you know, they can prove me wrong. I find myself wanting to see it every week. I want to see if Kurt Angle is going to get involved. You know, he's supposedly gone from the business because he didn't win at Bound for Glory. It's interesting. And now you got Matt Morgan, Jeff Hardy in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. To be honest, Jeff Hardy's probably going to win that one. I still want to see him face Van Dam, but you got to keep in mind, Mr. Anderson's going to be back before too long as well. He's going to want a title shot, so they have all these different things going on that's working for them, and I'm sure they can come out of it. You know, I don't see TNA going down the toilet as a company. You know, they still got some fight left in them. It's just one of those things to keep in mind. One of those things to just keep watching for. Overall, wrestling is pretty good right now. I'm excited for Survivor Series this Sunday, top to bottom. You know, sure they came up with half the matches last night on Raw. Should be a good pay-per-view. TNA will have Final Resolution coming up. I have one match signed for it. Let's see where they go from here. Yeah, overall, I think now is a good time to be a wrestling fan. It's not the greatest time in wrestling history, but we also have to keep in mind WrestleMania is just around the corner. So this is when, especially in WWE, wrestling starts to pick up. And if TNA wants to keep their ratings up, they're going to pick up too. Now, through the next couple months, is a good time to watch professional wrestling. I'll be back with you next week, and I'll see how my opinions differ then. Thanks for watching.